عليكم، شو اخباركم؟ ان شاء الله يا رب تكونون بخير. اليوم تغطيتنا طبعا بنروح حق فولندام ونبي نصور لكم المعرض والاجواء والاشياء الجميله اللي عندهم والاجبان اللي يمتازون فيها ان شاء الله. يلا خلينا نروح ويا بعض. طبعا وصلنا معرض الجبل. ايه
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Welcome in our cheese factory, the Simonenhoeve. I'm Moira, and I would like to explain you something about how we make cheese here on this farm. So we have 80 cows, more than 80 cows, and we have also a lot of sheep, but most of the milk is coming from the cow. Of cheese, we need 10 liters of milk. So it's a lot of milk for making one cheese. First, we put the fresh milk in the cheese barrel in grouting, and this one has a capacity from about 800 liters milk. It has also a double wall where we put hot water in to make the milk warm to 29 degrees. After that, we put some rennet in the milk, and that makes the milk thick like yogurt. And normal. After that, we have the good shape, but without any flavor. The cheese is too young. And that's the reason that we put them in a salt water bath, and that gives the taste of the cheeses. The small wooden shelves, and after 2 days we put plastic around the cheese. And this is to protect the cheese, but also that you can take it with you. So long as the cheese is still closed, you can keep it with plastic around it more than 2 years without the fridge. And when it is with wax around, it's about 9 months without the fridge. So you can keep it very long. When you open the cheese, it's about 2 months inside the fridge. And then in Holland, we can call it after 6 weeks a young cheese. 6 months is the medium age cheese. And after a year, it's the old cheese. Here I have a cheese from more than 2 years old. You cannot make slices anymore. In Holland we broke this kind of cheese into grating the cheese. So when you eat pizza or vegetables, it works very easy this way. So this is the story about the cheese. We go to the wooden shoes, and my colleagues tell you the story how we make the wooden shoes And after that you can taste cheese. For free, of course. Yeah? So thank you so much, and we shall go to the wooden shoes. So you can go.
طبعا متابعيني هذه انواع الجبن، تقول ان في نوع غالي وفي نوع عادي وفي نوع انه يكون يتم سنتين وتقدرون تاكلونه ما في اي مشكله. وعلى كلامها تقول ان عمرها 83 بسبه اكل الجبن.
We start with a short history. We started making clocks 800 years ago in the Middle Ages. There were leather shoes by then, but leather shoes were very expensive and the people were very poor. So they started to experiment to make shoes from wood because that was cheaper. And it was also interesting for the farmers. So in winter they could do something to earn money. There was no work in winter, so they experimented with wood and they made a nice shoe like this, and then they sold it in town, so they earned some money in winter as well. Now these shoes were made from poplar wood, and poplar wood, the poplar tree is a very long tall tree without branches, so there are no knots in the wood. It's quite clean wood. And it's very light, so it's easy to walk on these. Now, today we still use clocks. There are about 4 big factories in Holland who produce about 1.5 million pairs every year. And most of them are used in gardens and by farmers. So it's not only tradition working. And at one point they decided to paint the clocks because they were considered poor men's shoes, and the leather shoes were for the rich people. So they decided to make it imitate water to make it softer, so it's easier to
ينقعون المي
carry.
بالوتر عشان يصير سوفت وخفيف.
And the outside was done with this knife, like this. So when the outside was finished, they squeezed them in here, and then they used these gouges for the inside, and we have a whole range from small to big, and then we work on the inside like this. That's very complicated work. It takes a lot of time because you have to be careful not to break the clock, measure all the time. It takes a lot of time. So an experienced clockmaker can produce up to 2 pairs in one day. Here's the outside.
مو الفاينلي finishing for the shoes.
So now we have to work on the inside.
الحين
What we do
يشتغلون
with
على
this.
من داخل
What?
عشان
And we do
تقدر
it with the
تدخل
machine.
الريل.
It's about the same principle. We have an original, and the machine copies the inside into the wood of the new clock.
الحين بالضبط راح يصير كوبي رايت منه النسخة
It's a
الثانية.
bit too big.
طبعا هذا الفاينل شيب الحين راح
So and then
نعمل
it's
إياه.
almost ready. But
صار جاهز.
not ready yet, so there's a lot of head work to do. Now it's still wet, we can cut it here and we can smooth it a little bit. Then we have to dry it slowly. If we dry it too quick, it might crack here, so it's quite
بس يبي
thin.
له قص
So
وتحديد
we
من جدا
put it in the shade for about 2-3 weeks. Then
وينشفونه
it's dry, then we can
مدة
polish
3
it, then we can
أسابيع
paint it, then the new
يقدرون
clock is
يرسمون
finished.
عليه ويخلص ويكون
Now,
جاهز.
we were talking about the working clocks, all the same over the whole country. For special occasions like weddings and parties and festivals, we have special clocks. So every region has its own special clock.
يقول
It might
لكل
be the shape,
مناسبة
it might be the drawing or the cutting. This is an example of the north of Holland, Hindelopen. It's a small place where the only place where they paint the clocks like this. Very complicated work in 12 layers, takes a lot of time. And because it takes a lot of time to paint or to cut it, they want to have them more solid, so they have to live a bit longer. So they use a harder kind of wood, they use willow wood. It's a bit more expensive, a bit harder, and a bit heavier. And these drawings, you can recognize it, is always a flower and a bird in the design. And the flower is the symbol for love, and the bird is the symbol for freedom.
الأول يعبر عن الحرية والثاني
Then we have another special one. This.
وبعدها عندهم
This is a
واحد
wedding
مميز.
clock.
هذا
And
يلبس
this
في
wedding clock
الأعراس.
is only used in this big lake behind us. This is a small island called Marken. And it's the only place where they produce these clocks. These are only used for weddings. And it was a tradition when a boy wanted to marry a girl on the island, the boy had to make one pair of these clocks for the girl. And
الأزواج
in the
اللي
middle of the night,
بيتزوجون
he would put them in
يلبسون
front of
هذا
the door
الشوز.
of the parents of the girl. And then the
لما
next morning he would come
يتقدم
back.
عندها
And if the
يلبس
parents
هذا
took the
الشوز.
clocks inside the house, he was accepted. But when the clocks were left outside, poor boy.
Good job.
Oh, it's a very sad story.
Good job. Nice story. شوفوا الفينيشنج ماله وايد كيوت وايد حلو. طبعا هذيلا الشكل النهائي حقهم بعد التصنيع.
On the side over there. Yes, but none of these. It's not possible. It's 12.50 total. And we also have other colors in the other room. We have also red.
طبعا هذه الهاتش كلهم هاند ميد مصنعين يدويا. هذا الماجنت في الثلاجة.